We have to stop segregating ourselves, not only as Latinos, entre Latinos, of I'm Cuban, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm this, I'm this, I'm that. Like, we need to not segregate ourselves. And we also have to understand that supporting other minority groups supports us. So supporting the Black Lives Matter movement is important because we as Latinos deal with police brutality.
Hi, Chelsea. Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to be talking to you again once more. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I can't complain. You know what I mean? I'm healthy. I have a house to stay quarantined in, and my
Yeah,
family's good.
that's awesome. Did you got the shake this morning?
Oh man, yes. I'm like, I'm trying to like make sure you don't see the little bags under my eyes because I was like, what? And I actually live in the valley, so it shook the house. It was
Yeah,
the
me
biggest
too.
I think that I've experienced.
Yeah, I'm 10 miles away from the epicenter, and here we got a
I'm like six. I'm
very
like six
loud.
miles.
Oh my God, the noise was really loud.
Oh
But
yeah, no, it was
anyway,
scary.
yeah. But let's talk about tax collector. When you first read the script, what attracted you to this project?
The fact that it was different, the fact that technically it's about gangs and violence and drugs or whatever, but really at the heart of it, it's family, it's love, it's what this character David would do and the limits that he would go to protect those that he loves. And that's really beautiful because again, you see a lot of these stories about gangs and violence in Hollywood, but you don't see them go home. You don't see them with their families. You know what I mean? And sometimes, yes, the families are a part of the life and sometimes they're not. You know what I mean? So that for me was really stand out and what stood out to me in the script.
Yeah, usually they don't show that part of the family.
Yeah,
They think that everybody's without a soul, which they
exactly.
have. They still have love inside, I think, and
Yeah.
I think it's great. And
Yeah,
what
David
do
really humanized the characters.
yeah, you play Lupe, and what do you like the most about her?
She's just a badass. Like she's a part of the family, she's a part of the tax collector situation, you know what I mean? But she also like gives them shit and like talks shit, and then like she also has like a little bit of an ego because she's like, I'm part of the family, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. um and I really love her dynamic with David and Creeper.
Yeah, and how is work like with Bobby
I
Soto?
love, oh man, it's funny, I've known Bobby for 10 years, so
Okay.
to work with him on this, I was like, I was a proud mama bear. Like, oh, I knew you when you were 16 years old, and now you're a man, and you're leading this movie, and I was so proud of him. And I think I remember telling him that after like the first day on set, I was just like, yo, you're it, bro. Like, you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, no doubt, no nothing. Like, take that all away and just you're doing it. So that was a fun experience just for me because we're friends and we already have a bond and a love for each other. And also just he's talented as heck. So it was fun to be able to play with that.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's a different project, it's a different type of script, a different type of story. How for you, what was the most like? Why is important to be part of movies like this?
Because yes, we are the cholo and we are the maid and we are the gardener, but we're humans. You know what I mean? And again, going back to David coming home and having his family and his wife and his kids and his castle, you know, we don't get to see that. Even though we see the gangs and the violence all the time in movies, and that's how Latinos specifically are portrayed, but this was seen the behind the facade of like, yes, I'm this tough person and you can't touch me, but also like I go home, I have a heart, I bleed blood, and I hurt, and that was really really important and really beautiful. and that for me is just what we need.
Yeah, you've been really busy these last years. I've been noticed, and we need to mention to you about Vida. That I was very sad when, like, really sad when they like the third
They
season
canceled,
finished.
yeah.
They canceled, and then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm gonna miss Maddie. And
Me
I
too.
love Maddie, and the way that you talk about the things that you do, the activism, everything was very important. And do you think we're gonna have a show like this, like another type of voice like this, in
Oh yeah,
anytime soon?
I definitely think we are. I think that, if you think about the last couple years, it was Vida, One Day at a Time, and On My Block. They had, Latinx representation. And then this year alone, in the last year, you had Gentified, the expanding universe of Ashley Garcia, Mr. Iglesias, now United We Fall, Baker and the Beauty. So we've had so many more opportunities. And again, it's up to us, the Latino audience, the Latinx audience, to show up and tell the studios and the executives that we want to see more of it. And that's how we're going to get more opportunities. We have to support each other, and we have to support the projects. Even if it's not your story, even if you live in Ohio, you're not from Boyle Heights, but just supporting brown content and brown talent is so important.
Yeah, because nowadays we are spread out. We're not just
Mm-hmm.
here in LA or just in Miami or New York. We are everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
So everybody needs to be there, like show up and support, which I try to do all the time. And I try to, yes, I try to tell people, look, it's not just
Yeah.
those blockbuster movies. We have these small series, small movies, or more like different movies, different stories that
Even The Tax Collector, it's not a big budget movie. It's an indie. You know what I mean? Like, David had to do this himself because this is one of his passion projects.
yeah.
And because of that, he has the career that he has. That's why Shia was down, and George and Lana, and all of us were so down to do it because we respect him.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And also, I want to tell you, I watch Infiltrators, and I love
Oh,
you guys.
wow.
Yes, I did, and I think it was super cute the way that it was a documentary, which was like
Yeah,
a live
with what.
action as well. I was like,
Yeah, no, it was so crazy. That I literally got chills every time I think about that project, because Claudio got deported after we premiered at Sundance.
wow.
And his lawyer said all of his paperwork was in order. So the only thing that makes sense is that they're mad that he told his story, and the way that they're treated in these detention centers. And if you could imagine, in that detention center, it was like a hotel almost, you know what I mean? Pero imagínate the people, the kids in the cages right now, they're having
Yeah.
a horrible experience. And it's something that we need to talk about. And it's something that we need to figure out how to help them and how to stop this.
Yeah, I thought that it was amazing the way that you guys put together everything. I think was fantastic. I really enjoy watching. Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And now we are like everybody in quarantine. We are at home. Are you working anything for you in particular? Are you writing? Are you preparing for something for anytime
I
soon?
do have a story that I kind of wrote the outline for, that I need to work on and connect with the writer to really bring it to life. I'm also producing and starring in a rom-com, which we're waiting to get the funding for. And that's actually a sister company to Cedar Park that did Tax Collector. It's Evergreen Valley Productions. And so that's something that we're pushing for, and hopefully can do that soon. And then I actually just filmed a project at home for the New York Times. They are doing a project called Finish the Fight, which is in honor of the 100-year anniversary for the 19th Amendment and the women's right right to vote. And it was all these women of color that actually really helped the movement, but they're not talked about. So my character, Jovita Idar, is a Mexicana from Texas that was an activist and super a big part of, you know, the suffrage movement. And I'm really honored to be able to give a voice to her. So that's going to be available on, I believe, the New York Times website or the YouTube page on August 18th on the anniversary.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna check it out on that too. And also, I want to ask you, what do you think we as Latinos, Latinx community, what we can do to help the other communities, like not just in regards to the movies, in regards in everything? What should we do to help them?
Well, I think that we have to stop segregating ourselves, not only as Latinos, entre Latinos, of I'm Cuban, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm this, I'm that. Like, we need to not segregate ourselves. And we also have to understand that supporting other minority groups supports us. So supporting the Black Lives Matter movement is important because we as Latinos deal with police brutality. You know what I mean? And supporting, you know, Asians in Hollywood, they're underrepresented. I'm like getting lost in the passion. You know, there's so many minority communities that are underrepresented. And if we all come together, I think we could really make a difference, but we all fight for ourselves. And I think that's what has kept us back so long. So recently when the Emmys got nominated, and it was the first year that so many Black artists were nominated, and we're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But also we want more recognition as well. And not because we want to have a participation award, but it's because we have talent, but it's not being seen or recognized or acknowledged. And that's the problem. So Latinos need to not attack the Black community for getting so many nominations. We need to praise them and congratulate them because they are very deserving and they are very talented. We need to complain to the man, the system that is ignoring us, and not fight between ourselves. Because when minorities fight against each other, the white man wins because they don't even have to deal with us because we're taking each other out.
Yeah, they just ignore us and leave us like on the side. And
Exactly.
I think you have talented people in everywhere, but they have this tendency to put us in boxes, just like us journalists. It's the same. They put us in boxes. You need to cover just this or just that. No, I like films with Latinos, but I like films with African Americans as well, and with women, and doesn't matter, you know what I mean? I like movies, for example, so doesn't matter which one. And also, you know, I think everything that you do, you like in your career, you always specific in which character did you pick. How it's hard for you to pick your characters, or they found you in a certain way?
You know what's funny is that I actually haven't been specific. These are just the parts that I book. I audition for a lot of other stuff and I just don't book it. I think I technically only turned down one part, and that was because the character was written for a plus size woman. And I was like, technically in Hollywood standards, I'm big. But I'm like, no, I think somebody else really deserves to represent that character right and the best way possible. So that's the only time that I've ever technically turned down a part. But I think that I'm lucky that I get picked for the parts, and I also choose to do them as well. But really, Latinos, we don't have the opportunity to pick and choose the parts that we play. You know, where I'm at least not there yet in my career where I could just turn down a bunch of stuff. Because in order to get recognition, people have to know who we are. And so I understand people that don't want to play the cholo or don't want to play the maid or don't want to play the gardener anymore. I respect that. but I think differently in the sense of like, I need to keep working and working and working to the point where they can't deny me anymore. When my resume is as long as the eye can see, they cannot deny me. And then I could get to a power position where I'm producing, like right now I'm producing a rom-com. So I'm playing a character different than I've played. You know what I mean? She's still a strong Latina, but she doesn't necessarily have blue lipstick or some red hair. You know what I mean? Like, but again, that I'm able to be at that point now where I was approached with this script and I said, yes, I'd love to do it. And then I ended up coming on board as a producer. So that happens because these people know my talent. They know my resume. They know what I bring to the project. And again, we have to work in order to get there.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think for example, Tanya.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish I could say like, oh yes, I've handpicked every part that I've had, but it's not true.
Oh, but you never know. You never know. Like maybe one day you get there, and I'm pretty sure you will, because you're very talented and you're very persistent and you know what you want. You know what I mean? And when you get the part, you do your homework. You do like everything that it takes to get the best performance out. I think it's great. And I was telling you like what Tanya did with Vida. She gave opportunities to everybody. So
everyone. And again, these writers that she gave their first real opportunity to have gone on to write for great big shows. But everybody needs that first opportunity. They have to get let in the door. But if not, we're just standing outside banging on the door asking, excuse me, can I come in now? You know, and Tanya is just such an amazing force. You know, she really helped so many people and created careers. She made people's careers off of Vida. You know, I know that I would be in a completely different place now if it wasn't for the show. And I'm very thankful of where I'm at, and that I have continued to work, even though during the pandemic, not really. But, you know, to work right now, even if it's at home, was just an amazing experience. And also this project, the fight to finish the fight, it was an offer. The director was a fan of my work and was like, yo, I want you. And I was just like, oh my God, yes, thank you. You know, so Tanya really played that big part. Tanya and David actually got me ready for Vida. When I worked with David at the beginning of 2017, he connected me with my sensei and with my acting coach, Ivana Chubik. And then it was like I was training and I was working out and I was super like focusing on myself. And 3 months later, I booked Vida. That's
awesome. You see? Mine. Laws of attraction. Yeah, that's great. Chelsea, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I cannot wait to see your next projects, and keep going, girl, because you get there.
Sí se puede.
Yes, we can do it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.